Hello, everyone. Welcome to another MELTA podcast. Today with me is Miles Parker. He's a friend, a colleague, a very nice person to be around, and we're very happy to have him today with us. So, hi, Miles.
Hi.
Feel comfortable?
I'm comfortable.
Perfect. So, we know a lot about you, but the viewers may not know. So, would you please tell us about yourself?
Well, I'm an American and I'm a retired teacher who still continues teaching at the Volkshochschule and at the Bundeswehr Uni. And I come from Maine and I've been teaching for about 25 years. And I live in Heidhausen and I live in the same apartment for, 42 years, in kind of a Wohngemeinschaft with this German guy. And I don't have a driver's license, and I ride my bicycle all over the place. And in the summer, I like to garden, and I like vintage movies, and so that's my
Your favorite movie?
what's my favorite movie? Lolita. That's the movie that I'm watching right now. I was streaming that, the Stanley Kubrick films.
I know Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah.
Never heard about that film.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
42
I
years.
have a million favorite movies. Yeah.
42 years in Germany.
42 years in Germany, I think so. Yeah. 1982, 43 years in Germany.
Why did you decide to come here?
I was looking for adventure, I think. Yeah. I come from Portland, Maine, and I had finally graduated from the university. And a friend of mine in London, who worked in the travel business, said, I'll send you a ticket. You can come to London. You can hang out, and we'll see what happens. So I went to London, and my friend and I traveled around in Europe. And I came to Germany because at that time there were lots of soldiers and military bases here. And I could get a job on a U.S. military installation without having to get a work permit or a residence permit. So I came, I saw, I stayed.
Okay, we'll get to the work in Army University or German Army University, but I got a piece of information about you. You worked at the airport once.
Yes.
Was it here in Germany or?
Yeah, I worked at the Munich airport. After the country reunified, the troops pulled out, but one door closes, another door opens, and the Munich airport opened up, and I got a job out there.
What did you do there?
I worked in airline security for British Airways. Yeah.
How was it?
And it was a job. Yeah, it wasn't particularly anything great, but I worked there for 10 years or so. Not quite sure. 8 years. Yeah.
So you just worked for the sake of work, just to get some pocket money, not because.
Oh, no, well, it was more than pocket to survive. I think. Yeah, but it wasn't a career or anything.
It wasn't for you. So just like temporal.
Yeah. I mean, it was a job, and I worked there, and I have to say, it wasn't always. It was hard because it was shift work, but it was through working at the at the airport that I met some other English teachers, and that sort of got me thinking about teaching English. It was one of the factors. Yeah.
And why did you decide to switch? You had in Germany, unless you are working in the government, so you are to work as a freelancer forever. And so, as far as I know, you had a full-time job in the airport.
So this is my favorite part of the story. So what? Let me see.
That's why I'm asking. Yeah,
I was always taking German classes at the Volkshochschule, and one summer there was a Spanish woman in my class, and she said, why don't you teach English? And I thought, well, I have a bachelor's in English. And I said, well, maybe I could do that. And this Spanish woman, she was very, I don't want to say pushy, But she said, I'm going to bring you over to the VHS and I'm going to introduce you to some people. And of course, I was very nervous, but I went over. And well, anyway, they interviewed me and and eventually they hired me. And then I did the CELTA course and part of the Delta course, and here I am.
And for how long have you been there? Have you been working in Volksschule?
Almost 25 years.
Oh,
Yeah, almost 25 years. Not quite, but almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, you mentioned before working at the German Army University.
Yeah. Oh, that was oh my God. That was the great stroke of good fortune in my life. Yeah. Well, I was at a Christmas party at the VHS, and there was someone sitting across the table from me, and she said, "Why don't you come out to the Bundeswehr University and see if you can get a part-time job?" And of course, I was nervous as always, thinking I was going to have to teach about machine guns and tanks and everything. But I went out there, and they offered me a one class a week, and and I took it. And the man who was the boss out there he liked Americans. His name was Wolfgang Schmitz. And he offered me a full-time position, and I was flabbergasted at my good fortune. And I got a job there, and I was angestellt, and that was great. It was the best job of my life.
For those who don't speak German, angestellt, what does it mean?
What does angestellt mean? I got a full-time position.
So angestellt is full-time position.
Yeah,
we know it. Because
I think it means. Yeah, I'm not sure.
But for those who don't speak German, it's like angestellt is full-time job.
Yes,
not a freelancer.
I was no longer a freelancer.
Lucky for you. So
yes.
You started working there. How was it?
Teaching at the Bundeswehr?
Yeah.
Loved it for the most part. Yeah. It was interesting. I had great colleagues. I shared my office with a wonderful, wonderful woman, Uta Brown, and I worked with some other people who were in MELTA, like Jackie Adams and Bethan Stokes, and I had some great colleagues. Yeah, I was pretty happy.
We are meeting those people after the podcast. We have a meeting today.
Yeah. So I just putting in their names. Anyway.
Okay. So that year was which year approximately?
I think I started there around 2006. Yeah.
Okay.
And I worked there for about 11 years, and I retired, or I started collecting a pension check in 2017. So if you do the math, you can figure out how old I am. I worked to the full retirement age.
I still struggle to remember my wife's birthday. So okay. So it seems like everywhere you go, you think you're going to stay for a short time, but you stay for almost forever, except for the airport.
Yeah,
I got a feeling that airport wasn't okay. Maybe because it was night shifts.
Yeah, I didn't have to work night shifts. No, it was that. The airport it's okay. It's like just another chapter in my life,
It's the only job which you didn't want to continue.
I'm glad you know what? I'm so glad that I became an English teacher. I love doing that. Yeah. And now I have lots of classes, and I want to continue it as long as I can. I find it invigorating. I like my students. Yeah, I really can't say anything bad about it for me.
Have you noticed any differences between that German Army University and working in Volkshochschule? Regarding managements, regarding the type or kind of students or the material that's
at the German university, although most of the students were military soldiers, men and women, and The thing is, they had to take the class because they had to reach a certain level of proficiency or maintain a level of proficiency. So sometimes you would have disgruntled students who were in class and they didn't necessarily want to be there. And that can kind of like, you know, it can bum out the teacher. Whereas at the VHS, most of the students are there because they want to be there. And if for some reason they're dissatisfied, they simply stop coming. Okay. Yeah.
So
that's the difference.
Just for those who don't know what VHS means, it's Volkshochschule. It's a wild organization, educational organization in the whole of Germany. And here in Munich, where we are, it's called Münchner Volkshochschule. So just for those who don't, I know that most viewers are MELTA members. They know what that means. But we always, sometimes have also viewers who are not even in Germany. So just to, that's why I asked you.
Are we going all over the world with this podcast?
It's going to be on YouTube. So unless it's North Korea.
Okay.
Everyone else, I think also China's is it? I don't know if it's banned in China, but
we'll find out.
Yeah, except North Korea, everyone on the globe who has an internet connection, smartphone, will see us or can see us. Yeah.
Let me just say one thing. Talking about I love the Munich Volkshochschule. It's a wonderful organization. I'm proud to work for them. They are very supportive. It's a great work atmosphere. Yeah, I think it's great. At the military university, also a great organization. But yes, but Volkshochschule, primo.
How's your relationship with using technology in the classroom?
You know what? I tell you the truth. I don't use so much technology in the classroom. Occasionally, I show YouTube videos, but I don't play some of the games like Kahoot, and I have done that. And during the pandemic, I of course taught online courses with Zoom. But I prefer face-to-face teaching. But talking about technology, one thing I have to say, AI, ChatGPT, I like that. I mean, it's great for getting ideas for the classroom, and even it's like having a colleague that you can talk to. And I'm a big fan of that. So, although I don't exactly use it directly in the classroom, I do it in my lesson preparation.
I never use it.
Okay.
Whatever. I know. Okay. I know some people like.
Okay.
Some people.
And I even think the topic of a lot of my classes right now are conversation classes, and even talking about AI is a very productive and fruitful theme in the classroom. We were talking about it yesterday with a group of seniors who were practically on a beginner level. They had something to say. Anyway.
By the way, I got a question for you. It's one of the questions, one of the viewers. Mm-hmm. Someone told me to ask you about some special game that you play in the classroom.
What do I play? You know what? I play that old-fashioned game that everybody knows. I think hot seat. I call it back to the board. You write a word on the board. The student doesn't see it, and everybody else has to try to give him hints. And another game that I use, and I'm going to use tomorrow in my class, comes from Tatiana. It was the taboo game. And I used to always play the taboo game full class, but now I do it in small groups, and I think you get more student talk time. So those are two games that I play.
So I'm sorry to destroy this image you already have, but originally the idea of taboo, it came from me. So I was the first person who used it.
Okay.
Then, yeah. But you like going to workshops, like because I've never, I always see you in the workshops.
Yeah.
I sometimes miss workshops, but every time I would go to a workshop or a meeting, I always see it seems like you are in love with workshops.
Well, I'm kind of to tell you the truth, I'm kind of in love with my job in a lot of ways. I like collaborating with other teachers. I like teacher talk. I like sharing my ideas. Yes. I think that when I articulate ideas that I have, then I have a better command of them. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
right. I honestly believe that.
Okay.
I have free time also. I'm a single guy. Yeah. I mean, I'm retired, but I still work. I enjoy it. I'm thankful that I have this job that I finally found.
Okay. 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 Perfect. A question from Tanya.
Yeah.
Would you give us? I don't know if we're still considered young, but we're in our 30s. But let's say we're still young.
Yeah.
Can you give us some tips, hints, some piece of advice as young teachers in Germany?
Share your ideas, work with other people, collaborate, uh, go to workshops, uh, commit yourself to the idea of lifelong learning. Yeah. And if you take a break, there's no reason why you can't start up again. And Joan Walsh, a very famous, big deal here in Melta. I remember one of the first things she said to me was, teach more. I think that the more you do it, the better you get, or the more confident you become. Yeah. So teach more, collaborate, learn. Yeah,
But
that's something I think. Yeah.
I don't know if you read one of my articles in one of mental issues. That do you agree with that idea of mine that some people, some teachers,
Well,
after some time, they stop improving? It's like when you try, for example, imagine you are not a native speaker of English.
yeah,
You can study and study and study, and then you reach a level where you cannot improve anymore. Maybe you can improve your, for example, maybe you can improve your grammar knowledge or vocabulary, but for
yeah.
speaking, you reach a level you cannot improve it, no matter how much you try. Do you think that this could also be the situation when it comes to teaching? That some teachers they practice and practice and practice, go to workshops, attend seminars, have Delta, have Celta, have everything, but when it comes to the classroom, they are stuck. They can't use anymore.
Well, I don't necessarily want to be critical of other teachers. I think that when you first start teaching, you make progress in leaps and bounds because it's new. And I think that as the years go on, maybe some teachers um, they kind of plateau out, but I can't always say what other teachers are doing because I'm not in other teachers' classrooms. So it's, yeah, I hope I answered your question.
It's
Leaps and
okay.
bounds at the beginning, then things slow down. But I think if you're really interested in teaching, you'll always be kind of fine tuning your approach.
Well, I've always been a lazy person, so I always try to find the easiest way to teach something. Yeah, and
What?
people find it good.
Yeah.
They think because I'm a good teacher, I say no, I'm not a good teacher. I'm just a lazy teacher. I find the easiest way to do things, make things done.
Well, I'm kind of a lazy teacher too, and
Okay, high
yeah,
five.
okay,
Good.
but
We make
I. What do I want to say? You know what? I spend a lot of time thinking about what I'm going to do in the classroom, and fretting, looking at materials and everything, and then sometimes just before the class happens, I get some kind of brainstorm and it inspires me, and this is the activity that I do in the classroom, and maybe because it's the brainstorm and it makes me enthusiastic. A teacher colleague of mine, Jackie Adams, I remember said, if the teacher's enthusiastic about what he's doing, it'll be infectious, and other students will pick up on that. I like to think that's true.
okay.
Okay.
Okay. By the way, how was your farm outside Munich?
Farm. I don't have a farm. I have a little garden.
Whatever.
It's
It's also a question from our secret agents.
oh, secret.
Yeah.
It's an allotment. It's a
Yeah.
victory garden.
What
It's
do you have there?
oh, I've got all the regular vegetables, carrots and kraut, and lettuce and zucchini, and it's a nice activity. Yeah, I've had that for also about as long as I've been teaching.
How big is it?
I don't know how big it is because I don't. It's not very. It's a third of the size of this room. Yeah. So it's like from here to the window, and I don't know how to do square feet or square meters or any of that stuff.
Okay.
But it's a garden.
And how much you care about it? Like, do you give it enough attention, or only?
I give it enough attention. I'm not a perfectionist.
Okay.
It's fresh air, sunshine. It's contact with local people, a chance for me to practice my German, and it's a nice bike ride out there in Johanneskirchen, and on a clear day you get a view of the Alps. So,
Okay.
Yeah, it's a win-win situation.
Okay. I got a question from one of our Ukrainian colleagues, not Larissa, but she wants to ask you, do you think Germany is, from what you have seen and from what you have experienced, do you think Germany is a good place for Ukrainian teachers to show their skills, or it's not? Because a lot of them complain that they are not getting enough opportunities like others. Do you think that they can be given the chance to be recognized in teaching? I don't know
well,
this question,
let me
but
see.
I have to ask.
Ukrainian teachers. I have over the year. Can I also talk about Polish people too?
Polish people, no problem. Feel free to talk about whoever you want.
Because at the Bundeswehr, I had several colleagues who were non-native speakers and Polish, and they were excellent teachers. And so I've worked a lot of times with people from Eastern Europe, and I've admired their teaching skills. And yes, I think, yeah. I also, I have to be careful here. As a native speaker, sometimes my command of English grammar is wanting. And sometimes when I have students who want more grammar, and if I have a warm relation, I sometimes recommend that they get a non-native teacher, for a non-native speaking teacher.
For grammar.
Yes. There, I said it there. Oh my God, everybody. But I think that native speakers can. We have an extensive vocabulary because we're native speakers, but sometimes the way that we learn the language isn't the way that people learn it in second language acquisition. And I mean, I remember when I was first starting out, the present perfect and the past simple. I mean, it was. I had to spend some time brushing up on that. Yeah, and it goes on and on and on.
You know how to use them, but you don't know why you use them this way.
I think that as time has gone on, I feel I'm confident teaching present. Before I was teaching.
No, before you started working on yourself, like you just said, refreshing the information.
Yeah. There are certain grammar points, like when we get up to B2, C1 in the textbooks, that's a challenge for me. Yeah, right. Teaching grammar in B2, C1. Yeah.
So
I'm comfortable with A2, B1, but there. Okay.
So you agree with those who say not every native speaker is a good teacher, and not every good teacher is a native speaker. And I'm not talking about English, I'm talking about languages in general.
Yes,
So
I agree.
the fact you are Ukrainian native speaker does mean you are good at teaching Ukrainian. But you as an American, if you are a real teacher, you could be a very good teacher in teaching Ukrainian, even though you are not a Ukrainian native speaker.
Okay, I agree with you. Yeah, I'm not going to be teaching Ukrainian.
Not that
I
much.
don't even. I think what Pivo is that?
People. It's most anyway. Anyway, there might be some
Pierogi.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts? Well, I hope I can continue teaching. Sometimes I think of myself not so much as a teacher, but as kind of a classroom manager, especially in the conversation classes. And yeah, I bring ideas in, discussion points, try to set up the class in little groups or something so that you maximize student talk time. And I try to guard myself from too much teacher talk time. And yeah, what else? I think MELTA is a worthwhile organization. I'd like to see us, attract even more people and
More young people.
more young people, greater diversity. I think it's a very important. As I said, I think collaboration and workshops are important. Networking for students, for teachers is so important because a lot of freelancers work independently, and we don't have a teacher staff room where we can share our ideas.
So, just final question about Meta.
Mhm.
Do you watch or listen to the Meta podcast? Be honest.
Yeah.
Because your answer might be followed by a follow-up question. So choose your answers carefully.
Oh my God!
Do you
Well, I
watch-
could go on talking forever. I'm having a blast.
No problem.
To tell you the truth, yes, I listened to one of the recent podcasts with I'm not sure if the guy. Yes, I listened to part of that.
Okay. Other than my podcast, which is your favorite, you don't have to tell me.
Oh, yeah.
What other podcasts
Undoubtedly.
did you find?
That's the only one I watched, to tell you the truth.
Mine.
Yeah. Yes.
And there only.
And I'm going to go home and watch them all.
Okay. Okay.
Jeez,
Okay.
This is my.
But we know that it's not. I'm usually I mostly have like online, but there is Mike Clarkson and there is Mike Saunders.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, they do podcasts also?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
They're also parts of.
I think Mike Saunders is a great guy.
Yeah. But since we have to change,
Okay.
like one team, but it's me who does most of the job.
Okay.
So I'm still waiting for his beer. He still hasn't sent.
Okay.
Yeah, remind him. Okay, so have you prepared anything for today's meeting?
Which meeting?
AGM.
We don't have to. You mean food?
Anything, food?
I know. I didn't make any food.
Some.
I didn't.
Nothing.
There was nothing to prepare. There's no work. There's no show and tell, is there?
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to find out.
So no, I didn't prepare anything.
Tell some secrets. No secrets.
No,
Okay,
I don't have
that's
anything.
True.
No.
That's true. Okay, Miles. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you
It
for
was a
having
pleasure.
me. Thank you.
And so I hope we have more podcasts in the future.
Okay.
If times allows.
Sure.
If time allows, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the best teacher will correct themselves. Okay. So, dear listeners and viewers, thank you for being with us. This podcast is going to be into two versions: the video version, what you are watching now,
Me.
and exactly, and the audio version, which you can listen when you are in the underground or bus, wherever you are. You're going to see this podcast on MELTA podcast channel and Teachers Lounge channel, which is my own channel. So thank you very much for watching and listening, and see you later in another podcast. Thank you, Miles.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye. Ciao.